As the college entrance exam approached, my younger sister suddenly received a public confession from a wealthy young master. She immediately ran to me, bursting with joy. "Sister, Gu Mingxian just confessed to me. He said I must give him an answer tonight. What do you think? Should I nod?" In my previous life, I advised her to put romance aside for now and focus on her studies. Dating at this time would only mess up her grades. If he were sincere, waiting 2 more months wouldn't hurt. Although regretful, she found it reasonable and followed my advice. Yet, that playboy young master immediately turned around and publicly dated another girl right after. My sister and I buried our heads in our studies, and eventually, both of us were admitted to Huajing University. But 10 years later, my sister bumped into Gu Mingxian and his wife at a party. From then on, she seethed with jealousy and pushed me down from a building with her own hands, her eyes filled with madness. If it weren't for you, I would be the one standing next to him right now. I fell and became paralyzed on half of my body. Still, her anger wasn't satiated, she even poisoned me to death. Opening my eyes again, I had returned to the exact day she received the confession. The suffocating pain of death still lingered. In my ears, the shy yet excited voice of a young girl was already ringing. I stared blankly at the person standing in front of me, the youthful face of my 18-year-old twin sister, Lin Xiaye. I realized I had been reborn. She continued to urge me, "Hurry up and tell me, should I agree or not?" Although Gu Mingxian is the school boss and usually bullies people using his power, he is handsome and has a solid family background. How about I just say yes? Filled with expectation, she grabbed my hands excitedly. I lowered my eyes, glanced at her, and quietly withdrew my hands, my voice calm to the point of being cold. "How would I know if you ask me? Why don't you try asking Mom for her opinion first?" Hearing me say that, Lin Xiaye looked hesitant. "Ask Mom? Will that be okay? If she finds out, she might scold me." I immediately pretended to comfort her, "It's fine. Mom always tells us to treat her as a best friend, we can ask her anything. Who knows, she might have a much better idea than I do." Not long after, the lively sound of the mother and daughter discussing echoed in the living room. My mother put down her teacup and excitedly pulled Lin Xiaye to sit down on the sofa. "Silly girl, of course you have to agree." My mother had heard of this Gu Mingxian kid. Even though his studies were terrible, his family was wealthy, so marrying him would mean a comfortable life. Lin Xiaye glanced toward me standing outside the door. She was clearly very happy but still a bit hesitant. "But Mom, there are less than 2 months until the college entrance exam. If I agree now, what if it affects my studies? The teachers evaluated my sister and me. As long as I try a little harder, getting into Huajing won't be difficult." Hearing this, my mother poked her forehead. "So stupid. Being good at studying is nothing compared to marrying rich. Listen to Mom. Why do you two study so hard? Isn't it just to build up capital to marry into a wealthy family later?" After saying that, she hugged Lin Xiaye tightly and sighed, "Look at you, you two look exactly the same, so why are you the only one with such a bright future? You truly are my precious baby." Seeing me standing outside the door looking in, her face immediately darkened. "What are you looking at? Go study. If you don't get into Huajing, don't call me Mom anymore. If you were as capable as your sister, I would hug you and call you my precious baby too." I laughed secretly in my heart. She can keep this precious baby title, I'll pass. Sure enough, everything happened exactly as I predicted. Lin Xiaye quickly began walking side by side with Gu Mingxian. My mother was visibly pleased and even began to show blatant favoritism between the two of us. The mother who used to treat us fairly now prioritized Lin Xiaye in everything, even cutting my share to compensate her. She said bluntly, "Don't blame me for favoring your sister. Even if you really get into Huajing, so what? In the end, won't you still be working for someone else? But your sister is different. Even if she fails the college entrance exam, As long as she marries into a wealthy family and becomes a grand lady, she will have a status you couldn't reach even if you worked your whole life. Lin Xiaoya was very smug hearing that. The relationship between us sisters gradually grew distant from then on. I didn't care and continued being an emotionless studying machine, because I knew very well that men are never as reliable as oneself. Gu Mingxian was a master at romance, and quickly had Lin Xiaoya's emotions resting in the palm of his hand. She was happy because of him, sad because of him, her soul flew to the clouds because of him. Going from a good student to an excellent one takes a lot of effort, but dropping from excellent to the bottom is easy, just a little distraction is enough. I continued studying diligently. Very quickly, the next mock exam arrived. As expected, Lin Xiaoya's grades plummeted uncontrollably. The homeroom teacher specifically called her to the office to ask about it. Lin Xiaoya used poor health as an excuse to gloss it over, but she herself was terrified by the report card. She dropped over 100 ranks this term and was afraid of being scolded. As soon as she got home, she cried bitterly. I thought my mother would at least say a few words, but surprisingly, she didn't care at all and even breathed a sigh of relief, laughing loudly. Mom thought you two had a big fight over your relationship, it turns out it's just grades. It doesn't matter if you don't get into your favorite school, the important thing is to firmly grasp the young master of the Gu family. Grasping him means grasping your future. Lin Xiaoya took her mother's words to heart, pouring even more emotion and energy into Gu Mingxian. Gu Mingxian was originally a playboy, he pursued Lin Xiaoya from the start just for fun, so he got bored not long after. Exactly 1 month before the college entrance exam, Gu Mingxian officially proposed breaking up. Lin Xiaoya went home and cried all night. What surprised me the most was that my mother came up with a scheme for Lin Xiaoya to follow. That night, I was studying in my room and felt thirsty, so I went out to get some water. I happened to hear my mother's voice ringing out. Anyway, he's just an empty-headed brat. Listen to Mom, you just need to do this, and Mom guarantees he will obediently return to your side. I was planning to eavesdrop a bit more, but unexpectedly, she lowered her voice, and curiosity urged me to step closer to the door. I didn't expect my mother to suddenly open the door and catch me snooping. She immediately started swearing loudly. You damn brat, instead of studying, you come here to eavesdrop. You've heard what you heard tonight, but if you dare breathe a word of it outside, watch me tear your face off. Now get back to your room. Standing behind our mother and hearing those scolding words, not only did Lin Xiaoya not defend me, but a glint of schadenfreude flashed in her eyes. I pretended to be scared, quickly lowered my head, and retreated to my room. In my previous life, Lin Xiaoya and I both poured our energy into our studies, and our grades were always at the top. Although Mom also hoped we would get into good schools so she could live a comfortable life, at that time she was incredibly gentle to both of us. In this life, since Lin Xiaoya managed to cling to a high branch, she completely changed. If I hadn't experienced the past events, I might have thought she was cursed. But now I understood clearly, whether it was her or Lin Xiaoya, it was just their true nature revealing itself. I ultimately didn't know what she had instructed Lin Xiaoya to do, I only knew that before finishing, she added one more sentence, "You're already 18, an adult now, what are you afraid of?" Ever since my mother devised that plan, Lin Xiaoya and Gu Mingxian quickly got back together. In the following period, their relationship was even sweeter than before. As for Lin Xiaoya, she went from losing focus in class to gradually skipping school occasionally. Because of this, the homeroom teacher had a headache. She couldn't find her, and calling our mother didn't work either, so she was left with no choice but to target me. She called me to her office and asked directly, "Do you know that your sister is seeing Gu Mingxian from Class B? In my previous life, I died tragically for meddling in other people's business. In this life, I was determined not to interfere with any karma anymore. Therefore, I didn't say anything, just shook my head and replied, "I don't know, miss." Seeing this, the homeroom teacher just sighed and said gently, "All right then, I was just asking." It's fine if you don't know. You can go back to class. After school, I went home. As soon as I opened the door, what welcomed me was a loud barrage of scolding from my mother. Do you still have the face to come back? How could I give birth to a thing like you? You're so young, yet your heart is already so vicious. Tell me, now that you've spread this matter outside, how is your sister supposed to show her face to the world in the future? Seeing her raise her hand to strike, I immediately dodged to the side and asked back, Mom, what did I spread outside? My mother slammed the door shut and sneered coldly, What? Still playing dumb? I'm asking you, did you leak the matter between your sister and Gu Mingxian? The expression on her face was unusually complex. As someone who had lived 2 lives, I immediately understood. For her to ask this, there was only one possibility. I maintained a calm expression. Mom, ask yourself, what good would doing that do for me? After speaking, I shifted my gaze to Lin Xiaoye. Sister, you weren't the one who told Mom this, were you? Lin Xiaoye's face immediately turned pale and she stammered, How could it be me? Too lazy to listen to her explanation, I walked straight into the room and brought out Lin Xiaoye's school bag. Right in front of them both, I flicked my wrist, and all the contents poured out onto the floor. Finally, I bent down and pulled a letter out of her notebook, a love letter neatly tucked inside. I held it up, my voice cold, because of this, right? That love letter was written to me by Gu Mingxian, and handed to me personally. The date on the letter is 1 day earlier than the day he publicly confessed to Lin Xiaoye. In my previous life, when I received Gu Mingxuan's letter, I didn't care and threw it straight into the trash can. Who would have thought that the very next day, Lin Xiaoye would tell me about his public confession to her? I advised her not to agree, mainly because I was afraid it would affect her studies, and secondly because I clearly understood Gu Mingxuan's true nature as a playboy. Seeing that Lin Xiaoye actually listened, I didn't think much more of it. It wasn't until I was about to take my last breath that I found out Lin Xiaoye had secretly seen that love letter that day, and even picked it up and hid it carefully in her notebook. She personally bragged to me that she kept it all those years just to remind herself how hypocritical and hateful I was. She firmly believed that I also secretly liked Gu Mingxian, which was why I deliberately sabotaged their relationship. Now that the letter was laid bare in front of her, my mother froze for a moment. What the hell was this? I let out a sigh, walked closer to Lin Xiaoye, and pretended to affectionately hold her hand. Xiaoye, don't think this letter was written to me. Look closely, it clearly says to the great beauty Lin, there's not a single word mentioning me. I'm guessing it was written to you, it's just that since we look exactly alike, he handed it to the wrong person. Then I pretended to be sincere and added, Mom is absolutely right. Who knows, maybe after graduation I'll even have to rely on you, the future madam of the Gu family. The boiling anger on Lin Xiaoye's face magically vanished the moment she heard my flattery. She burst out laughing, Don't listen to Mom's nonsense, getting into a good university is still very important. That's your lifelong dream. It was me being hot-headed for a moment, misunderstanding you without asking clearly. Sister, please don't be mad at me. I curled my lips into a light smile. Why would I be mad? You're my biological sister. After everything was cleared up, at least I could sleep soundly straight through the night. I just focused on studying properly. Mom continued her daydreaming in broad daylight. As for Lin Xiaoye and Gu Mingxian, they definitely had to be glued together, inseparable. Their romance really did explode like a bomb, everyone knew about it, simply because there was another girl in school who also had a crush on Gu Mingxian. After hearing they were involved, she grew senseless with jealousy and scolded Lin Xiaoye fiercely right in the middle of the schoolyard. After being scolded, Lin Xiaoye clutched her stomach crying out in pain. She was taken straight to the hospital, where an examination revealed she was pregnant. Hearing the news, my mother rushed over like an arrow. Aside from casually asking about her daughter's condition, she immediately pleaded with the doctor that no matter what, they had to save the baby in her womb. The doctor said the fetus's condition wasn't stable, and it was best to let nature take its course. If forced to keep it and the child was born with defects, it would be a lifetime of suffering. My mother immediately scolded the doctor mercilessly, saying he was cursing her precious grandchild. The doctor helplessly complied, securing the pregnancy without daring to utter another word. Waiting for the doctor to step out, Lin Xiaoye's face became flustered, but what she worried about most wasn't the baby, but herself. "Mom, I heard giving birth is very painful. I'm still a child, I don't want to give birth." My mother gently lifted her chin, smiling kindly. "Silly girl, being pregnant is a huge blessing. Think about it, who will the baby in your womb call Dad?" Lin Xiaoye answered blankly, "Gu Mingxian, of course." My mother kissed her forehead lightly. "Exactly, you are carrying Gu Mingxuan's child, so you are the future young madam of the Gu family. Wait for Mom, I will contact the Gu family and tell them to accept you as their daughter-in-law." Excitement clearly showed on Lin Xiaoye's face. She gently stroked her belly, her eyes sparkling with dreams of the future. "Thank you, Mom." Satisfied, my mother took her phone and stepped outside. As soon as she saw me, she frowned. "All right, stop looming at the door, go in and take good care of your sister. If anything happens to the baby in her womb, I won't let you off." I simply replied, "Yes," and obediently sat beside Lin Xiaoye. It wasn't until she finished her phone call that I used the excuse of needing to study for the college entrance exam to slip out of the hospital and go home. Lin Xiaoye stayed in the hospital for exactly a week, and finally managed to save the baby. She applied for a leave of absence from school right away, staying home to study before the college entrance exam. I had no idea what kind of silver tongue my mother used to make the Gu family nod in agreement to this marriage. They even promised to hold a grand engagement party for the two of them after the exams. Lin Xiaoye looked forward to the end of the exams, and I looked forward to it no less. Having already taken the exam once in my previous life, this time I performed to my absolute best in the exam room, scoring even higher than in my past life. Just as Mom expected, the day after the exams ended, Lin Xiaoye and Gu Mingxian held a spectacular engagement party. The two even announced in front of all the relatives that even in college, they would definitely attend the same school. As expected, I smoothly got admitted to Huajing University with high scores. Meanwhile, Lin Xiaoye failed because of her half-hearted studying combined with poor health. Normally, even with slipping grades, she could easily score over 600, but in this exam, due to severe lower abdominal pain, she didn't have time to finish many questions and only got 460, falling 6 points short of the second-tier university cutoff. Because of this, not only did my mother not comfort her, but she also scolded her loudly. She said that no matter how important the college entrance exam was, it couldn't compare to the baby in her womb. If you felt uncomfortable at the time, even if you had to hand in a blank paper, you should have run straight to the hospital. The mother and daughter argued for days over this. Fortunately, Gu Mingxian, who had always been a poor student, only scored enough for a junior college. The parents of the Gu family immediately spoke up. The future of their son and daughter-in-law was the priority. What did college entrance exam scores matter? They arranged for the two to study abroad together. Study for a few years, wait until they reached the legal age, and register their marriage right there. This made my mother as happy as if it were the new year. She went around bragging to all the relatives that raising children wasn't hard at all. Her two daughters still made everyone envious. One got into Huajing, and the other was the future young madam of the Gu family. And so, I smoothly entered Huajing to study, while Lin Xiaoye went abroad with Gu Mingxian as arranged by the family, starting their study abroad life. After entering college, I was like a sponge, devouring knowledge daily, filling in the knowledge gaps from my previous life. The pitfalls I once fell into, the old regrets, I made up for all of them in this life. On campus, outside of class hours, my route only revolved around the library and the dormitory. As for my mother, everything she posted on social media was about Lin Xiaoye's luxurious life abroad. acting as if she only had one daughter. But things wouldn't stay smooth forever. During the National Day holiday, I went home for a trip, and an unexpected incident happened. That evening, right after dinner, Lin Xiaoye called. Mom was sitting right next to me and put it on speaker. We only heard her choked-up voice. Mom, last time at Tongshan you told me to listen to the doctor for a thorough follow-up. Today I went for another checkup. The doctor said there is a chromosomal abnormality. What should I do? Hearing this, my mother panicked and jumped up from the sofa, pacing back and forth in the living room. How could there be a chromosomal abnormality? Listen to Mom, even if there's an abnormality, the probability of the child getting a disease isn't high. These doctors just like to scare people. Besides, medicine is very advanced now, it will definitely be fine. Stop crying, calm down. Wipe your tears and take a picture of the report to send to me. Mom will find a way to forge a normal one right away. And this matter absolutely must not be known to the Gu family, much less let Mingxian know. No matter what, we must give birth to this baby. Standing on the side listening, chills went down my spine. This was the true nature of my mother. Just to be 100% sure, even knowing clearly that the baby in Lin Xiaoye's womb had issues, she still insisted on having her give birth. Her purpose was only one, to firmly secure the seat of the young madam of the Gu family. Lin Xiaoye herself didn't want an abortion either. Under a few sweet words of advice from my mother, she finally nodded in agreement. After that, my mother had no mind to pay attention to me anymore. She grabbed her phone and slipped outside. By the time she came back in, her face was blooming with a full smile again. I considered the matter settled. This time, I only stayed home for 2 days, mainly to pack up the rest of my belongings from when I enrolled in college. As for the messy affairs between my mother and Lin Xiaoye, I didn't ask a single question. My stance was very clear, respect and wish them well. A few months later, Lin Xiaoye was approaching her due date. The Gu family couple flew abroad to welcome their grandchild. And just as expected, she gave birth to a mentally disabled child. The Gu family was furious. Even Gu Mingxian didn't care that his wife had just given birth. He turned around and screamed at her. Lin Xiaoye went crazy and even called the police to report domestic violence. After crying and pouring her heart out to our mother, my mother immediately flew abroad to mediate and even stayed to take care of her grandchild. Of course, this was all just what she told me. Knowing she would be staying abroad, I was indescribably overjoyed because it meant I was finally free from her harassment. Time flew by, and the past few years passed in a flash. Lin Xiaoye and Gu Mingxian returned to the country to hold a lavish wedding. Finally, she got her wish and became the young madam of the Gu family. As for me, not only did I graduate smoothly, but I was also admitted as a postgraduate student. Thanks to my outstanding professional abilities and continuously publishing award-winning papers, I had become a notable name in my field. Lin Xiaoye and I had walked 2 completely different paths. Who would have thought that one day, as soon as I stepped out of the laboratory, I would see her waiting downstairs. Lin Xiaoye was covered in custom-made designer clothes and sparkling jewelry. Compared to her pure, innocent look in the past, she now looked like a peacock showing off its tail. Seeing me walk out, Lin Xiaoye slightly raised her chin and smiled arrogantly. We haven't seen each other in a few years, but you are still exactly the same as before, aren't you? You still look like a dirt-poor student. Then, she looked me up and down. I heard that scholarships and paper bonuses pay quite well. It seems the rumors are a bit exaggerated. I smiled brightly and replied, compared to your current status, it really isn't much, but this is the kind of life I pursue. You are completely different from the past. From head to toe, you exude a luxurious, aristocratic aura. That compliment seemed to please her. Her face softened a bit, but her tone was still incredibly haughty. All right, no need for us sisters to be so formal. I just returned to the country, so I want to treat you to a good meal to satisfy my cravings. I refused flatly. Oh, what bad timing. I already have a dinner appointment with someone else today. Like you said, between us sisters, there's no need to be polite. Let's skip the meal. From now on, living like we used to is just fine. I knew very well that Lin Xiaoye wasn't sincerely inviting me out to eat, she came to show off. As expected, after hearing my response, she happily nodded in agreement. Actually, from the moment I saw her, I clearly noticed the exhaustion on her face. No matter how many layers of makeup she wore, she couldn't hide it. As far as I knew, over the past 4 years, rumors about Gu Mingxuan's love affairs had never ceased, all kinds of ambiguous women, and even whispers of domestic violence. Lin Xiaoye swallowed all of that, but no matter how hard she tried to maintain her superficial dignity, it had nothing to do with me. Drawing a clear line with her was what I had longed for my entire life. Eventually, I still couldn't avoid being called back by my mother under the pretext of a major family emergency. But when I got home, what I saw was Lin Xiaoye sitting on the sofa crying bitterly, while my mother sat neatly beside her, looking completely fine. Seeing me, Lin Xiaoye immediately grabbed my hand, crying and complaining. "Sister, you're finally back. Today, in front of you and Mom, I'll tell the truth. Since giving birth to my son, I am no longer valued by their family. They find all sorts of ways to call me useless and humiliate me. Sister, I can't live like this anymore. Tell me, should I divorce Gu Mingxian?" I froze slightly. What trick is Lin Xiaoye playing? Of course, I didn't believe her words, so I pretended to be a clueless bookworm with no opinions. I'm just an insignificant person, my head is full of formulas and data. If you ask me, how would I know what to decide? Why don't you listen to Mom's opinion? Mom is always the most resourceful one. Unexpectedly, the person who was crying and grabbing my hand a second ago burst out laughing the next. She wiped her tears, sniffled, and sneered. "It seems that vixen isn't you. Then I can rest assured." I got goosebumps all over, completely confused. After questioning them, I found out the truth. It turned out Lin Xiaoye discovered that Gu Mingxian was having an affair again recently. She didn't know who the other woman was, only that she was educated and talented. Remembering that love letter from years ago, she immediately associated it with me. She even thought that if I supported her divorce just now, it would prove that the person eyeing her husband was me. If it wasn't me, it must be someone else. I almost burst out laughing. Who would want that philandering husband of hers? But at the same time, I broke into a cold sweat. What happened today was clearly a theatrical act orchestrated by her and my mother. If I had supported her divorce, the consequences would be truly unimaginable. Seeing this as an opportunity, I immediately flared up in anger. "Mom, Xiaoye, what kind of person do you take me for? How could I do such a shameless thing?" "Fine, since it's like this, I understand. You never trusted me in the first place. To avoid getting to the point of completely severing ties, don't contact me anymore from now on. Rest assured, even if I never marry in this lifetime, I will absolutely never do such morally corrupt things. This incident was a blessing in disguise. At least I could use it as a justified excuse to openly stay away from those two crazy people." After that, my mother and Lin Xiaoye really did cause a fuss a few more times, but I ignored them. Actually, Gu Mingxian had taken the initiative to contact me. Knowing his nature too well, I blocked his number immediately. After all, I was truly very busy. Besides doing academic research with my juniors, I also used my bonus money for investments, spinning like a top every day. But even so, I was still stalked by Gu Mingxian. That day, I was eating at my usual spot, and as soon as I stepped outside, I was blocked by his car. Reeking of alcohol, he looked at me with a smirk. "Ying, long time no see, you're getting prettier and prettier. You and your sister look exactly alike, but how is your aura worlds apart? I called you, why didn't you pick up? Acting high and mighty now that you have some fame?" As he spoke, he pressed closer, even trying to get handsy. Seeing the situation going south, I leaned sideways to dodge. Unexpectedly, he refused to let it go and cursed at me. "You bitch, why are you pretending to be so pure? Do you look down on people just because you read a few more books? Think I'm beneath you? Stop pretending, you and your sister look the same, you must be just as slutty." I raised my hand to slap him, but just then, a figure suddenly rushed out, sending Gu Mingxian flying to the ground with a single kick. He stumbled up, rushing to fight back. Only then did I clearly see that the newcomer was my junior, Song Yuan. Unfortunately for him, Gu Mingxian had been indulging in a life of debauchery for many years, his body drained long ago. Even though he tried to fight back, he was quickly beaten by Song Yuan until his teeth fell out. He crawled away miserably, while Song Yuan casually called the police to report him for drunk driving. A clean series of actions, executed perfectly. I looked at Song Yuan walking toward me and slightly clenched my fists. Actually, he didn't need to step in, I could have handled it myself. Over the years, I had taken the time to learn martial arts for self-defense. Dealing with a scumbag like Gu Mingxian, not to brag, but I was more than capable. I thought Gu Mingxuan's matter would end there, but I didn't expect to suddenly become the center of attention. Not only were my social media accounts attacked, but even my email was bombarded crazily. The messages were mostly criticizing me, saying that despite reading so many books, I still became a homewrecker destroying someone else's family. Fortunately, I wasn't an easy target to bully. Upon discovering this, I immediately reported it to the police, and at the same time asked Song Yuan, who was highly skilled with computers, for help. Very quickly, we tracked down the information of the rumor spreaders. Following the digital trail, we discovered that the core attackers, paid internet trolls hired specifically to smear me. The followers, ignorant onlookers who thought they knew the truth, being manipulated to cyberbully me. And the mastermind behind all this, tracked down to the very end, turned out to be Lin Xiaoye. It turned out that to find Gu Mingxuan's mistress, she had hired a private detective to tail him, and accidentally discovered him harassing me. She knew better than anyone what kind of person Gu Mingxian was. She couldn't control him, and if she nagged him, she would get beaten. So, she chose a soft target to vent her anger, aiming her spear straight at me just to release the hatred in her heart. Unfortunately, even at this point, Lin Xiaoye still refused to admit defeat. She even started a live stream, crying and using her real name to publicly accuse me, her older sister, of wedging myself into her marriage. Right as I connected to confront her on the stream, Song Yuan also stepped up to testify for me. He declared himself my boyfriend and simultaneously released evidence along with the police records of the accepted case, firmly stating that spreading malicious rumors would be pursued to the full extent of the law. While netizens were eagerly eating melons and watching the drama unfold, someone suddenly exclaimed, "Wait, isn't this the future heir of the Song Corporation, Song Yuan?" That single sentence was like a detonated bomb, instantly drawing everyone's attention. More and more people verified Song Yuan's identity, confirming that he was indeed the future heir of the Song Corporation, a family whose background far surpassed that of the Gu family. The situation reversed immediately. A massive wave of comments turned to scold Lin Xiaoye. They reasoned that with such an outstanding, wealthy second-generation boyfriend, how could a talented Huajing University student like me ever bat an eye at a married, morally corrupt man like Gu Mingxian? Some even released additional evidence proving I wasn't the homewrecker, but rather had been continuously harassed by Lin Xiaoye and her husband. Her smear campaign having utterly failed, Lin Xiaoye could only hastily shut off her live stream. The next time I heard news about Lin Xiaoye, it was through paparazzi specializing in the private lives of the upper class. Lin Xiaoye had been subjected to relentless domestic violence. This time, it was truly severe. She was beaten to a pulp and lay flat in the emergency room, her life hanging by a thread. Just as I was half believing and half doubting the news, my mother called. From her bitter sobbing, I learned that the news of Lin Xiaoye being beaten was true. Except, it wasn't as tragic as the rumors suggested. She was currently hospitalized, crying and demanding a divorce from Gu Mingxian. Speaking of divorce, my mother cried even louder. Look at your sister. She struggled with Mingxian for so many years to get to where she is today. How can she just say she wants a divorce and be done with it? When she first followed Mingxian, didn't she think about this? Being a daughter-in-law of a wealthy family isn't easy. Young couples argue, so what if she took a few slaps? What normal married couple doesn't live like this? She doesn't lack food or clothes, paying a little price for that is nothing. In my eyes, it's just because she lacks the capability to keep her husband in line. Then, she changed her tone and continued, Ying, Mom heard that the young master of the Song family is pursuing you. You are still the most capable one, talented and knowing how to climb the social ladder. Too lazy to listen to her rambling this insane nonsense, I raised my voice and cut her off. Mom, Xiaoya is still in the hospital right now. Is it really appropriate for you to say these things? Besides, no one is pursuing me, it's all just rumors. If you truly care about your daughter, hang up the phone and stay at the hospital to take good care of Xiaoya. As soon as I finished speaking, her screams echoed from the other end of the line. Lin Xiaoya, what the hell are you doing? Throwing a tantrum and threatening to jump off the building over a little issue, do you have any prospects at all? I'm telling you either get your ass down right now, or you might as well just jump and get it over with. I couldn't hear whatever she said after that because the call was abruptly cut off. An hour later, news of the Gu family's young madam holding her child and threatening suicide spread everywhere. Someone recorded a video, and only then did I see with my own eyes Lin Xiaoya holding her 4-year-old child, standing unsteadily on the balcony. Her shattered and despairing gaze clearly showed she was determined to die. As for my mother, not only did she not try to persuade her, but she stood aside, viciously hurling insults. If you want a divorce, you might as well just die. Fortunately, the rescue team arrived in time, escorted my mother away from the scene, and risked their lives to pull the mother and child back to safety. I thought this incident would cause a massive uproar, but unexpectedly, the related videos only existed for a mere few hours before being completely scrubbed clean from the internet. It was enough to show that the Gu family's ability to silence the media was truly top tier. 3 days later, I received a call from the police. They told me that something had happened to Lin Xiaoya and my mother. Only when I arrived did I find out the horrific truth. Taking advantage of Gu Mingxian coming home, Lin Xiaoya secretly slipped sleeping pills into his glass of water. Waiting until he fell into a deep sleep, she made her move, permanently castrating him. After committing the crime, she used Gu Mingxian's phone to call an ambulance and then slipped away to my mother's place. While my mother was sleeping, she poured poison directly into her mouth. My mother woke up in time, knocked the poison bottle away, and managed to call for help herself. But I understood that specific type of poison better than anyone. Once ingested, death was certain. Even getting her stomach pumped at the hospital couldn't save her. After the case was exposed, Lin Xiaoya was immediately taken away by the police. They asked me a few related questions and then told me to go back to the hospital to visit my mother. She lay on the hospital bed, looking as if nothing was wrong. Seeing me, she immediately cursed angrily at Lin Xiaoya, calling her an ungrateful wretch. She claimed she had sacrificed half her life for her, yet she had the audacity to poison her. Then, she softened her voice and said to me, I only swallowed one mouthful of that poison, and I vomited the rest out. I got my stomach pumped after calling the ambulance, so I'll definitely be fine. It's just the hospital making a big deal out of nothing, forcing me to stay hospitalized. Finally, she grabbed my hand and sighed emotionally, you are still the best one. Thankfully, you had a bright future and got into a prestigious university, not wasting my hard work raising you. For the rest of my life, I can only rely on you. I coldly pulled my hand back and bluntly exposed her delusion. Enough. Stop acting out this deep mother-daughter affection in front of me. Whether it's me or Lin Xiaoya, we are both just pawns you use to achieve your goals. You say you love me? From the very beginning to the end, the only person you've ever loved is yourself. I looked her in the eyes and added, Chinmay, don't rely on me for the rest of your life, because you won't have the chance. She glared at me in disbelief and screamed, what do you mean won't have the chance? What are you saying? Are you planning to abandon your mother? Let me tell you, children providing for their parents is the law of heaven. If you dare to run away, I'll call the police. I'll sue you, and the court will force you to fulfill your duty. Seeing that she was still stubbornly unrepentant, I delivered the ultimate truth. There is no antidote for this type of poison. It only gives you time to regret, but it won't give you a chance to live. You will have to endure 2 to 3 weeks of continuous agony, eventually dying of respiratory failure. From beginning to end, your mind will remain completely conscious, fully feeling the process of your life slowly extinguishing bit by bit. When I said those words, my fingers trembled slightly. Although I tried to appear calm, cold sweat broke out all over my body. After 15 days of agonizing pain, my mother passed away. Right up until her final breath, she never stopped cursing Lin Xiaoya's viciousness. Lin Xiaoya, despite having a defense lawyer, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison for her multiple charges. Gu Mingxian, the playboy who used to revel among beautiful women, would forever no longer be a man. I bumped into him once later on. The formerly radiant and flashy Gu Mingxian was gone, replaced by a sluggish, timid, and cowering man, looking as if he had been reborn into a miserable new existence. I considered that true karmic retribution. The child, the most pitiful one, was the child Lin Xiaoya left behind. Fortunately, no matter how much the Gu family loathed the situation, under the immense pressure of public opinion, they had to publicly declare that even though the child had Down syndrome, he was still the Gu family's bloodline, and they would raise him properly. As for me, I continued to dive deep into the path of academia, working hard in my field, striving to create the greatest value. My future will undoubtedly be brilliantly colorful. The end.